it exciting when you go live and the first words of your song just fly out of your brain? Welcome, adventurers. This is episode 45 of Adventurous Spirits. I'm your host, Courtney Matz. I'm a creativity coach and a singer-songwriter and a creative person. And I am here to enrich your adventurousness, to speak belief and excitement to your inner desire to make things happen in the world. What comes to your mind when you think of adventure? This whole year of doing this podcast every week has been an adventure for sure. I went into it thinking that it was going to be about challenging myself to become a little bit more adventurous every week, to step into realms that are just slightly unknown, just a little beyond what's comfortable. And I still like that idea, but in the process, I got a little wiped out because I realized I already have plenty of stuff going on. I'm too busy to be adventurous, or to be any more adventurous than I already am. So instead, we pivoted a little bit and got more into the details of what kind of strengths and what kind of pep talks you need as an adventurer. And that went well, and I think that's kind of where we landed, is to talk about all of the aspects of adventurousness. You know, I have friends who are sort of the epitome of what I consider adventurous. They go out and they look for big challenges in the world. They look for cliffs to climb. They look for huge hikes to complete. They look for marathons. I do some of those things. I have done some distance running. But all in all, that's not the form that my adventures take. I think I tend to experience more adventures of the heart, more adventures of the mind, things that require mental toughness, and some of that carries over to a physical commitment. I mean, certainly a 26.2 mile run requires quite a bit of mental toughness. So it's just kind of about which comes first, you know? Are we focusing on the mental? Are we focusing on the physical? And then all the rest of you comes together in support around that endeavor. So I'm curious, as you're listening, what sort of form do your adventures tend to take? At least as you consider 2023. Okay, I think I've got the song now. You ready? Here we go. Open the door and look inside to a space that is so deep and wide that you cannot find the end. No, you cannot find the end. Keep exploring round each bend. Something beautiful begins and you cannot find the end. No, you cannot find the end, and you can do anything that you want to. Yeah, you want to. Just do anything. You can try to put your mind to. What if it's true? we've got Steve weighing in on the question. He says, this year I've had some theater adventures and some travel adventures. Oh, do tell. What sort of skills did you need to exert in order to participate in those theater and travel adventures? In what ways have you been stretched by those adventures as they presented themselves to you? What I like about this song, it's called Anything, by the way, currently only available on Patreon, but maybe one day I will be able to release it, is that it's about just embracing the fact that we don't really know what we can do. There's so many dreams and hopes in our hearts, and I think those are there for a reason. I have to believe that we wake up with those desires for a reason. And it's like we're being called to go and find out. Can I do this? Can I do this? There's an affirmation that somebody gave me recently that really resonates with me right now, which is to say, if you've been following the podcast, you know I've been getting into affirmations the last few months. And this one goes, I am ready to face my fears and see what I can create in this life. So that's what this song is about, is just saying, well, what if? What if? Given all the potential, what if? Open your eyes and doubt creeps in. What if this is all pretend and it's coming to an end? You're not ready for the end. All day long you're wrestling how to get back to that dream where you thought it'd never end. I wish it'd never end, where you could do anything that you want to. Yeah, you want to. Just do anything. You can try to put your mind to. What if it's true? What if you can do anything, anything? Round again, round again, round and around to the last thing. The mind is two sides of a coin. How to get back to the feeling where you can do anything. Is there a space in between? Wide-eyed, idealistic, and petrified. Round again. Ooh. As you're listening, think about it. Think about it. What is it that you want to be? If you could be anything, and we may not do everything that we want to when we want to. But true, anything is inside you. It will find you. I think that's true. I know that hope is hard sometimes. But I think this is a season where we reflect on what has been. And sometimes those eyes of reflection are sort of tunnel visioned. They tend to focus on what we have not accomplished. But I want to challenge you to widen your perspective a little bit, and also take into account what you have accomplished, what has accomplished at you, what has happened to you, and possibly sometimes even in spite of you. If you're anything like me, sometimes we discount the things that just come to us that we didn't have to directly exert effort in order to have. But I think those things count, because the fact is we're over here doing all this activity. Anything that comes of it, whether direct or indirect, it's a win. It's a step toward the life that we're trying to create, the change that we're trying to make in the world. Open your heart and look inside. Hidden gems, refracted light, and you cannot find the end. So we got another comment from Steve. One theater adventure involved adapting a show to involve puppets instead of live actors, sort of at the last minute. That sounds exciting. Which wasn't what we planned, but it turned out well in ways we never expected. Oh my goodness, way to be adaptable, Steve. Yeah, I think that's the epitome of the adventurous spirit. You play the cards that you got, you know? And you consider, well, I have cards. What should I do with these? And there's not just one game, right? Even if you're playing rummy, or if you're playing gin, or if you're playing poker, there's like 700 games within those games. And if the game is not defined, you can still build something out of your cards. Just to take the card analogy way too far. You could build a ship in a bottle out of cards. You could use them as notepaper. You could turn them into a collage. You could just tear them up into little pieces and make a tiled masterpiece out of them. There's a lot of ways to play with cards. But that's not really what this episode is about. It's not about playing or cards, but it is about looking for opportunities where you are. That's what I consider to be next level adventuring. So if you think about all that this year has brought you, 2023, and I'm talking about the whole year, obviously there are a few weeks left in it, but this is the last time I will be broadcasting to you in 2023 before I go on hiatus for a few months. So I feel a lot of responsibility to cover all the territory, and we've been through some of those months together, but when you think about it, what do you want to do next? After you've celebrated all that has happened, what would feel like a level up, a graduation? Is it getting paid for your creative work? Is it finally going on that hike or that camping trip that you've been sort of back of your mind planning but felt a little intimidated to take on? Is it really intentionally digging into your relationships and formulating strong bonds with other people, meeting new people? I think it's really important to recognize that's not the only thing that you want in your life, but if you can pick something that will feel like a level up, that gives you clarity, not just to have this back of your mind dread or a wish, where you every now and then are just like, oh yeah, there's a lot of things in my life that aren't going the way that I want to, which that's the way that I feel most of the time. But to actually pinpoint something and say, here is an area that I want to see this kind of change happen in. It's kind of like anything else in your life that you have like direct control over. When you look at your bin full of dirty clothes and you know that you want to wear your, blue denim top for whatever reason or whatever it is that you have, but it smells like smoke from the last time you wore it into a smoky place, then you got to wash it. that's the next level. And then once you have washed it and dried it and hung it up in your closet, you have it available to you. It is now a clearly defined goal that has been achieved. So now that I have overly explained goal achievement to you, just let's let this simmer. Feel free to let it be a rhetorical question, a journal prompt, or if you feel like sharing one of the things that's coming up in your mind, just pop it in the chat. I will tell you freely that one major area that I am up-leveling this year is in business. I have been a quasi-entrepreneur, freelancer, business person for a long, long time. And, I have next leveled in more ways than I can even count right now over the course of that time. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about how the world works. I've learned a lot about where what I do fits into the marketplace and into what people need. It's hard to remember all of it at the same time. So what I am challenging myself to in the future is to pick one area of all of my vast realm of creativity, which I just don't stop. I don't stop imagining new things. But I'm gonna channel it. I'm gonna focus it in one area. And then I'm gonna build a business around that, because I really think that I can help people with creative coaching. And I don't think that because I'm starting something new. I think that because that's what I've been doing for my entire life. And I just didn't realize that that's what it was. And I didn't know to put that name on it. And I felt embarrassed and intimidated to call myself a creative coach for a variety of reasons. But recognizing that, and that this is an area where I can actually create helpful products for people to help my fellow artists who I love so dearly make real changes in their creativity and experience breakthroughs for their activity and actually see what they want to make happen more and more. That makes me really excited. There's not a sales pitch at the end of that. I'm just telling a story, telling a story about myself. Even saying things like this makes me cringe a little bit, because I'm like, oh, is everyone bracing for, now what is your thing that you're about to release? I'm already releasing all kinds of things. If you're interested, you can ask me about it, but I'm not gonna corner you and try to make you buy something that you're not really that interested in. But also, I think there's something here that I have yet to fully explore, and that is the excitement that I'm embracing for the future, is to have a really strong business plan and a really solid offer in the marketplace. Because that's just not how I've thought about what I do in the past. Which is fine if you don't need to make a living or be here for longer than a couple weeks. It's about how much savings I have. But I do. I think I'm not alone in that. So I don't want to talk too much about myself. I'm taking up a lot of time here. But just as an example, as we're talking about these abstract concepts, trying to clarify what I mean by them. Oh, Steve has another comment for me. What did Steve say? I'm looking to level up when it comes to my writing work and the kinds of writing and creative work I can get paid for. Oh yeah. That sounds very exciting. I want to know more about that. And do keep us engaged, in the loop, I guess. Do keep us in the loop when we come back eventually. I'm not sure when that is, honestly. I hate to say this is the last episode ever. I don't think that it is. But I'm not sure exactly when we will begin again in 2024. But it's been super fun doing this every week. Thank you to those who have tuned in and told me your thoughts about the podcast, who have shared your favorite things about it. It means so much to me. And Steve, for being here so much of the time live to be able to talk to in real time. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears and do another song. And then I have some other thoughts for you that are hopefully helpful takeaways. I'm doing this song because I feel like there's a lot of areas of adventure that require us to be foolish or to feel foolish. And so this song is called Fool's Waltz. Here we go, one more time. I have read hundreds of pages of books to learn all I can know about love. Essays and interviews, podcasts and paper news, hand-me-down wisdom enough. I've taken it all in, handfuls of vitamins, warning against toxic influences. Pin a rose on me for all that I know. I've thought it carefully through, but for you, I am a fool. Letting go was never so safe. I have done hundreds of projects and busied myself with the logic of life. And planning and dreaming, no one intervening. The course of my journey was mine. No one could tame me, can anyone blame me? My rise and my fall affects just me mainly. Here I am playing this game built for one. No reason to make room for two. But then you disrupted my plans, disproved my hypocrisy, turned my whole world upside down. Basically scribbled pink crayon all over my carefully blueprinted, ordered outlines. You made a mess of it all, and I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier. To be a fool, a fool. Letting go was never so safe. So in what way is your adventurousness leading you to be a little foolish? To look a little silly? To possibly fly in the face of everything you stand for? In order to find out if you're right? To be willing to be proved wrong? I know for myself, when I have taken on new next leveling opportunities, it's usually because I fully expect a tenet of something that I've always held to be true, and then I test it. It's like, well, there goes that theory. That was incorrect. That was incorrect. But you have to test it to know. Now, lots of things that I believe are actually correct. But you still have to test those things so that you know, okay, I will not post my next TikTok at 9 a.m. again. I feel like nobody sees it when that happens. Now, that may be your ideal time of day to be posting social media, but for me, I will test it again one day, but this is one of the things that I believe, and I'm willing to be proved wrong in the future. So here's a couple of quick things if you're sort of like, I'm not sure what to do with this next leveling quest that you have now laid down for me, Courtney. What do I do with this information now that I know one area that I want to see growth in the coming weeks and months and year? I have a couple thoughts. First one, numero uno, do a little audit. Think about your habits in this area. Think about the things that you know that you may or may not have paid people to teach you. Guilty. The things that you know that you aren't doing or that you used to do regularly and just got out of the habit. It happens to all of us. It happens to all of us. This time of year is hella busy, and also things happen at you, and you can't always just roll with it and pick back up where you were. So, if you're feeling the pinch to grow in a certain area, just schedule some time to look at it. How are you doing in that area generally? Are there things that you already know would help? Oh, my bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. I hope that works okay for you guys. In my experience, this alert doesn't actually affect your experience at all, so I'm just going to ignore it. It's one thing that I know about having done the podcast this year. 45 episodes will teach you a thing or two about YouTube. So yeah, the audit is number one. And then two, figure out what you need to let go of, because chances are you are not doing enough, right? You already are doing a zillion things, and probably more than you really want to be doing, but everything seems necessary and there's no clear place to cinch in your belt to make space for the next adventure. So yeah, do business with this. What are you choosing instead of that level up? And is it still worth it? Maybe it is. Maybe that is the adventure, is to carry on with all of your existing workload. And maybe the next plan is to actually come up with an exit strategy, to let go of some of these things you don't want to have to do anymore, so that you do have space to level up. I am not an advocate for working yourself into an early grave. I don't think that benefits anybody. I don't think it makes you better. I don't think it makes the world better. But I think most of us kind of walk around with this low-grade sense of disappointment in ourselves. And I want all of us to be free of that as much as possible. Maybe it's not possible to totally get rid of it, but let's just see. Let's see what's possible. Third thing I recommend in leveling up your adventurousness, make a choice. Choose with confidence that you don't yet feel, and just go for it. Go for it, trusting that you will learn. You will learn. You will get better at this. I have been amazed in this last year of what I have been able to learn that initially felt very awkward, very impossible, and like, who am I kidding? Why am I trying to do this? This is not me. And so I think of the movie Hitch, where Will Smith is having this conversation with one of his clients. Obviously not him, but his character, Hitch. And he gets him to try on some new shoes, and the guy puts them on. He's very awkward and uncomfortable. He's like, I don't know if these are really me. And Hitch says, listen, you is a very fluid concept right now. I think that's very true. We're constantly finding out what's me. Who am I? What is my voice in this? And we know so much more now than we used to, but also, don't be surprised if you discover some new things about yourself. in the process of adventuring. So I would like to finish this final podcast of 2023 with one of the pieces that I have learned this year as part of my leveling up as an artist, which is to come up with an adaptation of several pieces from Handel's Messiah. And here is one piece in particular that I love. I've always loved it whenever it comes on the CD that I listen to. I sing my head off even though it's so not in my range. But this is seriously one of my favorite pieces, and it's so dramatic and so dark, and then has this glorious payoff. Pardon me, I have a little phlegm. And we gotta have clear pipes for this song. So I'm about to play you a cover that is in the public domain because it's 280 years old. It's called "For Behold, Darkness Shall Cover the Earth." You ready? For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. There you go. There's a little tiny taste of Handel's Messiah. And if you would like more and you live in the Hollywood area, I would love for you to join me on December 16th for an hour of this, just storytelling and going into what is the Messiah, how are all these pieces connected, because it's just sort of a bunch of songs smashed together, as an oratorio is. But my little songwriter, storyteller heart wants to dig in there and make it all make sense a little bit more. So that's been super fun for me, but man, it is a big project. This is the hardest thing I think I've ever done. And I have zero regrets. I'm so glad I took it on. I'm so glad that my friend Ben Boquist said, hey, you know what I'd like to hear? Around this time last year when I released my lullaby video, also on YouTube, and just covered one like super easy song. But even that was hard for me to do. That's why it's not on my Christmas album. But him suggesting it gave me the idea to go ahead and cover all of these pieces, 15 pieces now, and to figure it out. And I figured it out. So I am excited for all of us to go out there and figure out our next level together, and to be here for one another, to cheer each other on, because it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts. And that's why I'm here singing at you every week. So if you feel like you got some guts missing and could use a few more, We've got 45 episodes of Adventurous Spirits for you, and so much other music, other places. And I encourage you to make a playlist. Make a playlist of your songs that make you feel on top of the world, like you can do hard things, because every day you're going to have the chance. So with that in mind, I want to thank you for being my listeners. Thank you for participating wholeheartedly in this time that we have together every week. I want to send you out. Have a great time. Enjoy your life. Embrace the adventure. I'll see you next time. Subscribe if you want to know when that is. Or you can sign up for my mailing list, because I will send out an update there. You take care of yourself and have fun out there.